The Drunk Sports Podcast.
Hello, and welcome, drunk dudes and dolls and drunk sports pod turds, to this edition of the Drunk Sports Podcast. We are live. Well, Colby and I are live from Tailgaters in Plano on Ohio Drive, just south of 121.
Fuck you, I'm live too. I'm alive.
Lance, on the other hand, is live from the Dugout Bar and Grill and Fake Steakhouse up in Monroe City, Missouri, right there on Main Street. It's the only Main Street that's in town. I've been there, I know.
It's not even on Main Street, it's on Vine, but okay.
Well, but it's Main Street's behind it, right? It's like in between Main and Vine at the Y. If those of you who are familiar with eating at the Y.
Right, not the place you're talking about basketball. You're actually segueing into this is a perverted joke you're trying to bring about, right?
I hate when Colby calls me out before I even finish my joke.
Just wanted to make sure you were – I mean, you're talking about eating tacos right there, right?
At the Y.
One of these voices you hear are my favorite co-host in the whole world.
I'm still Big Red, and I'm still here.
Big Red.
Give it to me, Lance. Give it to me, Lance. Push. Give it to me, Lance.
Hold my right nipple. And the other one, of course, is the magical and mystical Mr. Colby Sapp.
You know, I've never actually pulled like a rabbit out of my hat or done anything with sparkles, but you still end up with the magical and mystical part. And, you know, sometime I'm going to have to come up with a damn trick or something to do when you say that, where it's like it just magically pull like a giraffe directly out of my ass.
First of all, the first part of what you said is going to be a new drop for next week.
Okay.
But here's one for now.
Of course it's gluten-free. Did you make it out of wheat?
Shots fired! The magical and mystical Colby Sapp. And again, we are live from Tailgaters in Plano, as we will be each and every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Forever?
For the foreseeable future until they kick us out of here like they did the last place.
Right.
I mean, it took them 2 years to kick us out of the last place.
So we should just make sure that we always have Drunken Gerber on before us.
Yeah.
That'll
he does all the offending.
That'll make sure that we look better, because if that doesn't happen, then man, we're going to offend everybody. See, he takes that enough of that side road.
Yeah.
On that podcast, that particular Out of the Rough.
After he tells me to take it easy.
Yeah. He went after every human being on the planet there for a whole show.
Because he tells me that I can't play this drop on that show.
Brandon Steele screwed my mom.
Okay.
Because it's too controversial.
Right.
All I'm allowed to do is this.
Brandon Steele.
Right.
Which isn't the same as this.
Brandon Steele screwed my mom.
Well, yeah.
But whatever. Big Red, do you believe this? We have a new most controversial?
Yes.
We have a new most controversial show on the DSP Media platform, and it is From the Rough, starring John, the controversial man Gerber.
Right.
I can't believe how everything has just gone to hell in the handbasket since I left.
I mean,
dude, you don't
step
even know.
out for a little bit, and everybody just decides that, hey, you know what? Let's do one thing that a little bit better than what we brought this Colby guy along to do. That's to be a shock jock.
Because when Colby is the voice of reason on a show, things have gone horribly wrong.
They have gone completely and utterly off the rails.
Just ask Corey and Kevin and Corey.
That's right.
As the great Arnie Spanier used to refer to them as.
Right.
Because he couldn't tell them apart.
No.
He'd always refer to them as Kevin and Corey and Kevin. By the way, Colby, why do we have a line open?
Why do we have a line open?
Let's go back there. We got a great show for you guys.
Colby.
To start the show, we've got a shout out, though, because we do recognize those who recognize us. And it's not often, Colby, that I go into a place and I'm sitting at a bar trying to be by myself, hitting on a chick or two or three chicks.
Right, because you got to play the odds, because most likely somebody's going to shut you down.
Most likely they're all going to shut me down.
Right.
But the more that I talk to and hit on, and one of them I won't disrespect, all right?
Or no,
odds are most likely that out of 10, I might not disrespect one of them.
Well, one of them just may not have enough respect for themselves and ended up in your car.
Or she's blind.
Right. These are all things that could happen.
These are all odds, especially if they're blind. No, I was at one of the other Tailgaters locations a couple weeks ago up in the great part of North Frisco at the Tailgaters at 380 and 423. Very close to my house, by the way. And
that's a lot of numbers.
That was intentional because I could walk home when I need to.
Gotcha.
And then drive my 12-year-old to get my car with me the next day. That didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
So I'm sitting at the bar. I was actually writing a piece for CowboysSI.com, and I was minding my own business. I had about 6 drinks in front of me. Again, minding my own business.
Right.
Some dude walks up to me, taps me on the right shoulder, and he goes, "Hey, man, I don't mean to bother you." And I was like, "Well, you are." I didn't say that out loud.
Right.
And he goes, "Man, are you IndyCar Tim?" I was like, "You don't have to whisper. It's not a secret."
Because I bet you were in there with a shirt that said, "Hi, I'm IndyCar Tim."
My shirt said, "Lick my butthole," is what my shirt said.
Right. Which is still not as controversial as anything Gerber said in the last segment.
But it was on the front.
Wow.
So he could push me from the back. So either way. So he goes, "Hey, man, I watch y'all's shows. I'm a big fan. I love y'all's shows. I don't live close to here, and I thought I recognized you just from your videos and stuff. I wanted to say hello, and he said, I know that you know Ben and Skin, and I was like, yeah, dude. I hope you listen to their show. He's like, dude, I was listening to their show today, and they mentioned you on their show today.
Of course.
And I was like, oh man, that's cool. I didn't get to hear it. He goes, no, it was whatever. So he went on and on. He's like, man, I just wanted to come say hello. So of course I bought him a drink and talked to him and chatted with him. And so big shout out to Jason Fisher, no relation to Mike Fisher.
Exclusive.
And we appreciate you, Jason, watching and tuning in with us, man. Anytime you see me, you are more than welcome to approach me because, brother, we will drink together and do whatever you want within reason that's unsexual.
Uh-huh.
How I
And
roll.
maybe if he's really desperate, he might.
I've had worse.
Uh-huh.
To be quite honest.
Depends on
Lance.
how long this drought lasts.
And you know I've had worse.
Right.
You've seen some of them.
It's getting close.
Grace is here, by the way. Speaking of I've had worse, Grace is here.
Wow.
What's up, Kangaroo Girl?
Damn.
Kangaroo Girl is in the house. Kenny and Jessica are in the house.
Uh-oh.
That was for Gerb. Gerb's going to kick me off of DSP Media if I keep doing that noise.
That noise?
He
I mean,
doesn't
that
like it.
particular noise does annoy me too.
You said that.
Yeah.
So Colby's getting on to you. You're getting on to me. And now Colby's getting on to me.
Right.
I'm getting on to Grace. I think we're about to have a foursome.
No, we're not.
Damn it.
Because there's too many sticks in that particular party, and nobody's taking the legs off my spider.
Sausage party. I call it right now.
That's
Sausage
not
party.
happening.
There's a party in my pants, and everyone's invited. No?
Nope.
All right, well, let's get into some sports content, shall we?
What is that?
I don't know, but I made if I can find it, I made an intro for this segment.
Oh, wow.
Didn't I?
Some production.
We have some production quality
Wow.
that
Some
goes into
elements.
this segment.
Uh-huh.
And it goes like this.
And now it's time for Around the Sports on the Drunk Sports Podcast.
This music makes me want a
Brought to
Cabbage
you
Patch.
by your mom.
I've never wanted to do that in my entire life.
Cabbage Patch.
Yeah. It almost happened.
So, Colby, let's get into some Around the Sports as we're going to discuss here in a second some NHL playoffs because my team is still in it,
Uh-huh.
even if yours is out.
Yeah.
But both of our basketball team's out.
Yes, they
As
are.
the Mavericks were eliminated in Game 7 by the Los Angeles, don't call us the San Diego Clippers.
Nobody does.
Well, old schoolers, old timers.
No, they really don't.
Well, they played there.
Yeah, but so long ago that nobody remembers
There
that.
are no Clippers in Los Angeles. All the Clippers reside in San Diego.
Okay, well,
That's as stupid as the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no lakes in L.A. They're all tar pits.
and we can go through this nearly every single basketball name pretty much.
We could.
I mean, Utah
Jazz. What the hell?
They don't even have caffeine
Come on,
there.
New Orleans.
What's going on? What is going on? All right, so you know what? Let's go ahead and draw back the curtain just a little bit.
Who is to blame for this?
Because there was a couple of articles that almost made IndyCar Tim throw up in his mouth.
Ugh.
And we there was actually a point to where I thought maybe Tim was just trying to ask questions that would just incite me to make me want to make video responses back to them.
I don't do that, sir.
Yeah, no, I think you just organize these things in order to irritate the absolute S out of me.
So pulling the curtain back even more than Colby is, we had a text thread going about the Mavs losing and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And we were heatedly texting each other back and forth. Well, Colby was so heated, his thumbs were probably sore. So he said, screw it, I'm sending a video.
I sure did.
And he sent me a video, and I replied with a video. And we went video back and forth. Lance was just quiet the whole time, Big Red. I don't know what you were doing. You're probably laughing at us or something.
Right.
Actually, I eventually turned the notifications off on that chat. Because, hey,
So
Good for you.
pulling the curtains back so far that I'm now ripping them off the wall.
There's no more curtains.
These two,
The curtains are gone.
since I have left, have become like an old married couple, and it's crazy. It's
The meat curtains are all gone.
Right. Ham wallet. What happened?
What?
Huh?
Says
So-
who?
So at any rate, basically it was whose fault is it that the Dallas Mavericks lost in this playoff series against the Los Angeles Clippers? And I'll have to tell you, it's you could probably land this all at the feet of your so-called half Nelson GM and Donnie Nelson for putting together a lottery team that has one of the greatest players that we've ever had play basketball in this state.
Right.
There. And I am saying that full-blown knowing about Akeem the Dream, a knowing about Tim Duncan, knowing about Dirk Nowitzki in this state.
David Robinson also.
You know what? No, I did a show with David Robinson also. For
Sean Elliott.
Sean
Did you
Elliott.
really?
Yeah, I did.
Where?
I did at the Fan. At the Fan, he was my
David Robinson was on the Fan.
Yeah, he was in my in between show, in between Arnie Spanier and then being on the KNC Masterpiece.
When was that show on?
I was on with Mike Austin.
Steve's brother.
No, but he did because I said so, or because Stone Cold or whatever. He did a lot of those bits. And David Robinson also that constantly. By the way, I was also did a show with him. I did the Hot Spot on Fox Sports 1190 for a little bit with Kevin Blanford.
I didn't know they took the hot spot to 1190.
They did for a little bit. So and he did plenty of shows shirtless.
There's your Dallas sports radio history.
There,
right there.
there it is, right there. How many places have I worked and been on the microphone? Quite a few. But as far as the Mavericks, I think you can blame Donnie Nelson because the team put around him. Because I tell you, this team that was put around Luka is, if he's not on this team, we're talking about what lottery pick we've got.
Right.
And that's including Kristaps. And I know that the knowledge and that the word going around is, and even Luka has said that he just needs to learn how to play with Kristaps. Kristaps better be gone. I don't know if he is.
Shouldn't it be the other way around?
What do you mean?
Shouldn't Kristaps be learning how to play with Luka?
Well, yeah, but with Luka being the main and ball dominant guy, he's got to be the one that tries to get Kristaps into the flow.
Yep.
That's how basketball works. If
Right.
you're the ball dominant guy, then you've got to try and make sure that your other star player that's supposedly to be your Robin is able to. If Batman just let Robin go, then he's Nightwing and he's not quite as good, right? So that's the same thing. I'm
Here we
sorry,
go.
I nerded out for a second. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Texas. I have a major problem with Texas.
But you need Luka. Luka needs something else. And
agree.
you can't lay any of this at his feet because if you look at he filled up a stat sheet in this series. He's the
Right.
only reason why you were in a game 7.
Right.
And part of this stat sheet that he filled up, well, not only was rebounds, but was assists.
Right.
So he's trying to get people involved. So I don't think it's something that the Jim Carrey lookalike coach that we have in Carlisle,
He needs to grow his hair back out, by the way.
I don't think that it's something that's left to him to figure out because he's put the plan out there and how to flow around. It is something that if you're going to have Kristaps work, it is going to be something that Luka's going to have to concentrate on.
Right.
The problem is Kristaps isn't getting into the flow of the game because Luka, his just skill level and just his fundamentals is putting him to where he wants to be on the court and who he's passing the ball to, and it just happens not to be KP.
So here's where my non-basketball fan brain went, okay?
Uh-huh.
And you already know this.
Yes,
This is going to be an unpopular opinion.
it is.
This is going to be ranked up there with the time that I criticized Dirk for not announcing his retirement earlier than he did, making everybody wonder.
Uh-huh.
That did not go over well on the 105.3 The Fan Tolo page on Facebook, by the way.
Nope.
I kept expecting to be lynched in my own front yard.
Thought about it.
Dare you talk about Dirk? You know
Right.
what? Never mind. I'm not going there again. So my first non-basketball fan brain went to what is wrong with Luka so that none of these other guys know how to play basketball when he's on the court. Because God forbid we blame Donnie Nelson, the architect of this Mavericks team for the last 20 plus years. God forbid we blame and criticize Rick Carlisle / Jim Carrey the architect of the scheme that brought the Mavericks their only title in 2011. Heaven forbid we criticize Mark Cuban. So clearly this is on Luka. And what is he doing on the court so that nobody knows how to play basketball all of a sudden? I realize that sounds very juvenile, but that was and I was not trolling you. That was my legitimate concern, is that Luka is too good. Like when he's on, and I brought this up before, when Luka is on the court, he's so good and so dominant. The other 4 players on the Mavericks all of a sudden become disinterested and in amazement and in awe of him, and they don't know what to do.
Let me throw this back to you because and kind of try and help you with this little bit of knowledge. Tim Hardaway Jr., when he was playing with the New York Knicks with Kristaps Porzingis, he was a throw-in on a trade that brought them that didn't bring them much, but they just said, "Here, have him too." And guess what? Tim Hardaway Jr. is about to get paid some serious bucks in this next offseason. And the reason why
by the Mavericks.
It may not be by the Mavericks. Okay. It may be by another team. But he is going to get paid. He's going to get paid a lot of money. And why is he going to get paid a lot of money? Because he played with Luka and Luka got him rolling. He might have been on his way to not an afterthought, but not a starter in this league.
Yeah, because we can't call it the Luka or the KP trade anymore. We should call it the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade.
It is and he was the afterthought.
Right.
He was the throw-in. When they were just emptying everybody else out. Not saying it because by the way, Tim Hardaway, his dad, one of my favorite players of all time.
Except for when he was with the Heat.
At that time, but that wasn't the same time.
No.
I didn't care about the Heat at that time. So, yeah, the Run TMC, love to watch Run TMC play, especially because I thought that Chris Mullin also played baseball, and his name was Chris Sabo.
Right.
I thought they were the
with
same
the goggles?
people. I thought they were the same people.
Cincinnati Reds.
So, but no, it was because Luka made that and made a lot of other players look good on this team. Powell is probably in a different league right now. If it wasn't for Luka.
Right. No, I get that. So I sought out some help after I was told about the error of my ways.
Okay.
Colby, I have a close associationship. A close associationship?
Yeah, that's not a word, but go with it.
With the boys over at DallasBasketball.com, part of the Sports Illustrated family of websites. Of course, they cover the Dallas Mavericks. All the boys over there. So I sought out them and I said, what is happening right now to the Dallas Mavericks? Because they were pissed. They were like you.
Right.
They really thought that they were going to win Game 7.
I kind of did too until you opened your stupid mouth.
And the consensus among them that they told me was that the problem is talent on the court. That Tim Hardaway can't be the number 2 player. KP can't be the number 2 player. You got to have Luka number 1. You got to have a number 2. You might even need a number 3 because at best, Tim Hardaway Jr. is the second best player on this team right now.
Right.
He should be the 3rd or 4th best player on this team.
He should.
And by the way, they all agreed KP should no longer be a Dallas Maverick.
No, I agree with
which
that.
Which I've been saying for a year and a half.
I've been hoping. I mean, because that would have made that trade awesome if KP turned into what everybody thought KP was going to be.
But if we can get that trade and KP is gone for what we gave up, Dennis Smith Jr.
Yes.
I don't remember who else went over there.
No,
maybe Cash. I don't remember what else was involved. But if Tim Hardaway is here for a number of years and he is the 3rd best player on this team, was that a successful trade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was it. Where's Dennis Smith Jr. right now?
Exactly.
I mean,
and we already knew that he and Luka couldn't play together.
They knew that. I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. and or Luka knew that because they were really good friends.
Yeah, but it was very obvious.
It's just your who's going to be in control of the ball. And by the way, I do see the comment by Jason Starkey that Luka is a little too ball dominant, and that goes to coaching or lack thereof. The problem, Jason, that I have with that, and look, you're welcome to your opinion, but the problem with that is I don't know who else you want to dominate the ball because you're going to have somebody do that. The free-flowing system that used to be in the NBA. It actually never was, because if we were talking about Lakers team, Magic was the dominant guy, or it was Kobe, and he was kicking the ball into Shaq. It was Jordan, and then Pippen would be there to clean it up. If you have a good team, and you can even look at the Heat team that tried to make the super team, it was LeBron, and then the other times it was never Chris Bosh.
Well, your best player on your team is always going to be your most dominant ball hog.
Right.
And it should be that way.
And by the way, it's not a Carmelo Anthony style situation, because Luka can and will dish and make people better. That's, again, the reason why Tim Hardaway Jr. is about to get paid.
So, Colby, the Dallas Stars are not in the Stanley Cup playoffs. My
They
Montreal Canadiens.
By the way,
Les
Kemba Walker.
Habitants.
Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker should come to Dallas, and there are rumors of such.
There are, just want to keep everybody updated
Is he our number 2?
that Kemba, if he ends up playing shooting guard and have those there, then you throw in and you start rolling in your other guys that you have. Now you have something you
To
might be
rotate
able
them.
to build on. Because Brunson as your backup point guard, love it. Where is that going to stick? Don't know, but I love that.
Is Josh Richardson bad?
He was at shooting the ball.
I had high hopes for him when he was drafted.
I did too.
God, listen to me. I sound like I know basketball.
You sometimes
Damn it.
go to your hockey thing.
Yes,
real quick.
so hockey in the NHL, the National Hockey League. The Stars, of course, are not in it. My Les Habitants de Montreal are in the NHL playoffs. And
Montreal
Colby,
Canadians, for those that don't understand what the hell he just got through saying.
that says Je m'appelle Tim, et toi?
What'd you say about my twat?
I've only seen pictures, Big
Okay.
Red. I've seen pictures of his toi.
I-
So, of course, they're in the conference finals. Most likely going on their side of the bracket, going to face Vegas, who leads Colorado, the 1 seed, by the way, 3-2. The Islanders lead Boston 3-2. Nobody cares about that side of the bracket because the champion is going to come out of whatever they're calling that. I mean, there's no east, south, north, whatever
the Visa
hell it
bracket
is.
or whatever it
The
is.
DSP media bracket.
That's what we bought it.
What we're going to call it.
By the way, Jason Starkey that made that comment, even though I shot it down, keep commenting, Bubba. That gives us a little bit more content.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here live, by the way,
Never mind. You should have showed up.
but only if he brought Katie with him.
Okay.
There's no.
There's no Jason without Katie.
Is it just like they're at the hip?
Well, he's just riding her coattails.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
I love
wear
you,
a coat
Jason.
that-
I'm
I mean,
kidding.
it's hot outside.
She's got some coattails, too.
You know
I'm
what?
not going to lie.
You're
right,
talking,
right, Lance?
All right, then.
Lance, what does she call you?
Daddy.
She calls Lance daddy. We're not going to get into what she calls me. We can't say it on the air. FCC regulations.
Right.
In the
thought that's
NBA.
I
You
thought
can't
that's why
say
we had
taint
I thought that's
muffin?
why we had a podcast. We
In
didn't
the
have it.
NBA. Of course, we're into round 2. You have the weirdly named Utah Jazz. This should probably be called the Utah Mormon Preachers. Playing the weirdly named Los Angeles Clippers. You have the Denver, what are they called? The Nuggets
Okay, yes.
versus the Phoenix
Suns.
Shining Suns.
Right.
You've got Philadelphia and Atlanta. You've got Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Milwaukee is going to lose to Brooklyn. I'm telling you that right now. Brooklyn has dominated the Greek Freak in that Milwaukee team, and I hate that because I freaking hate Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, I mean, besides if you're Kerry Kittles and or Keith Van Horn fans from back in the day.
Is there? Oh, but speaking of Mormons,
The Keith,
Keith Van Horn a Mormon? Or am I mixing him up with Sean Bradley?
I'm pretty sure you might be.
Oh, they're the same player.
Right, they are really not. One was a
7'6".
One was a super dunker. The other guy, even though he was taller than the basketball, I once saw him try to dunk from the free throw line, and he back rimmed that all the way to the other side
Wait,
of the court.
aren't they all taller than the basketball?
Basketball goal. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't finish
okay.
words that should have come out of my mouth.
I didn't think we were talking about the WNBA.
I mean, easy now. I mean, you're going to stick to the string of people we're offending with our podcast, huh?
The WNBA.
All right, then. By the way, Giannis is nationally, he's starting to be kind of looked at as not that awesome super carrier of a team
He
that
can't carry a team. He never has been able to.
Well, I mean, through the regular season he has, and you
Doesn't
know,
matter.
enough to get MVP awards and all that. Right? Is there a boat coming in, or so? As far as Giannis is concerned,
Bye, Johnny. Hey, give me another beer before you leave. I need another beer. She's busy.
It's. How do you like this podcast talking
This
about
is awesome.
beers and
Yeah.
stuff, man? Download now, like and subscribe. That's
If you want to hear us order drinks live on the air,
that
then,
that is kick ass in a glass. I appreciate.
So there's
that.
your NBA, NHL, sports around the
All
sports.
right. Guess I was done.
I thought you were done.
Well, I was continuing on trying to fight through beer ordering.
We're going to
Sam.
continue on now.
No, we're not. By the way, I'm rooting for the Jazz. Just
Absolutely. We're
rooting
rooting for the Jazz.
Go all the way,
Because they're not supposed to win anything. There are a bunch of Mormons out there on the court.
man. Are you Johnny Gerber right now? What the hell is wrong with you?
You got to root for the Mormons. They never win anything.
You went after the Wimba, and now you're going after the Mormons. Sorry, I tried to actually just sound out WNBA, so maybe that's it made it sound like an automatic vacuum cleaner.
Okay, look, every time the WNBA is mentioned on this podcast, it's going to be followed by. I'm getting all the dirty looks tonight. This is great.
You know what? For that, I'm going to call up Reggie Atatula and have him do a WNBA segment every time we do DSP.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He won't come on this show. We've already discussed this.
No, you know what? Maybe just as in a call-in, he can have
Why
a different
does
name.
he watch the WNBA? I know he's a huge basketball freak.
Loves the basketball, loves the football. He's just
We're not doing
you know what?
football.
You know what? It's boy, you hear him talk about it, and you might actually want to
Grace
watch it.
wants to do a freaking soccer segment on this show. We were watching soccer over there, and I kept telling her it's not a sport. Look, never mind. I'm not getting into soccer right now. Why it's not a
The
sport.
Drunk Sports Podcast.